What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be doing something that probably should have been done a long time ago. We're going to be rage selling Rob Gronkowski. Now, the number one thing that I want to talk to you guys about is this. When you step on the field of a Madden 20 football game, ideally what's going to happen is you're primarily going to run into a player like myself that's going to run stretch and not care about anything because EA has done so many things to me that I don't even care anymore. I don't even make an attempt to pass the ball unless it's like I know it's going to be absolutely open, because with the way the game is designed, it doesn't matter how big your receivers are. Them dudes is going to get picked off by the Keebler elf, so it doesn't even matter. Rob Gronkowski being 6'6", he couldn't out-jump a dead cockroach, okay? So yes, he's a 90 speed, 90 strength, all that stuff, catching traffic, all that good stuff, but he's a trash card for what I need. If he works for you, that's fine. For me, he does not, and therefore he has to be removed effective immediately. Now, what are we going to do with that? Like, where do we go from there? What are we supposed to do moving forward? It depends on what you're into, okay? Now, you can always put, like, Lane Johnson as a starter, because, look, I'm going to explain something to you really quickly, right? This is what's ideal about the situation. If we get another right tackle and we have Lane Johnson as a backup, right, we could actually start Lane Johnson as a 93 at tight end and just have him always in on every single set where we could kind of, you know, mix and match packages and do things of that nature. Or, you know, it doesn't really matter if you put him as a third tight end because it doesn't work out in the game itself. But if we were to leave him there, it would kind of mess up some of my formations, but I would be able to adjust with certain of the I wings and the strong wings and stuff like that, because he would be the inside tight end. If you guys understand the run schemes, if you start him at tight end, you would literally have to move him anyway. But if you wanted to go to other sets where you wanted to be outside and have him as a, like, you know, a wide receiver, being a lineman, you can do that as well. So it would be advantages to actually starting him at tight end. But at this point right now, I don't really have, you know, I have to wait to see exactly how we work it out. But because of my 49er theme team, I got to be very careful because I need this guy right now to play that position. So I could actually put Lane Johnson eventually as a backup right tackle and start him here just to make it so that my offense is just always going to be crazy and I can do pretty much whatever I want, because having a guy that big on the outside without having to run, like, you know, the typical strong wings, it will be insane with the different formations. I would have to go in depth with it to let you guys kind of fully understand it, but you can manipulate packages to make Lane Johnson pretty much be a wide receiver everywhere. And it'll just be a nightmare for your opponent. Like, it'll make your opponent want to quit the game, even without Nasty Streak. But we'll get into all of that at another time. Right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move Rob Gronkowski off the field and away from our team forever. The dude sucks, and until EA Sports does something about the fact that players don't play according to their height, I know Saint fans are still reeling and going crazy about a lot of the things that just went on with what just happened with them with a jump ball. But like I said in my podcast, it doesn't really matter what happens. You're going to give that up no matter what. With the last play of the game right there. So Kyle Rudolph is so much bigger than that corner that the Saints had. Even if he doesn't extend his arm, it's a jump ball and it's thrown perfectly by Kirk Cousins. He's going to catch that. Unfortunately for us in Madden 20, that height situation doesn't matter. Everybody jumps like they're, you know, a kangaroo jack. Like, it's really, really crazy. So now that he's gone, we're going to have to put another tight end there. We could look and see what happens. Also, power run and go deep is not affected. And it looks like sprinter and brawler are also not affected. The 49er passing is good. Yeah, 49ers is still good. So I could actually try to find somebody else to put here. That'll be an ideal situation. I just want to point out that it does not affect my chemistries going forward because he was a Patriot. And in addition to that, all the chemistries that he had, it was boosted to be better, and we already have additional players. So you'll see our sprinter is still good, our brawler is still good, 49er chem is still good, go deep and power run is still good. So whoever we get there, we'll just have him, you know, whatever, as a backup with, you know, more power run or whatever that goes on into that. Now, to get rid of him and start looking at what the price ranges are and what we could actually get from him, remember that the team of the year, George Kittle, is more than likely going to get a card. I just want to be very, very clear with that. If EA Sports does not give him a card, something is wrong. So we can actually hold off and wait on that. We don't need to really rush because Gronkowski wasn't playing for us anyway, so it doesn't really matter. None of it really matters at this point. So let's go over here now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to downgrade him and get everything away from him. And then we're just going to sell him off completely and we're probably gonna be up at about 600K when we're said and done, and we have to get all the training back. So let's go ahead. We're gonna start downgrading. We're gonna get back to that 1800 training. For those of you guys that were thinking that I lose the physical chems and everything like that, you simply have to read what it says. And EA has updated the game several times. This was actually a very, very good upgrade where it made sure that you're getting your refund for everything. In some cases, when you're interchanging players for power-ups, it may be annoying because you'll lose training for that. But in these cases, when you're downgrading to raid seller player, it's actually pretty easy. So that way you don't lose anything and everything pretty much works out for you. So you can always read what it says. Typically, it's going to be half. If it's not half, it's going to be whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be, you know, a portion on 90% of abilities and X factors. So you guys at this point should be aware of that. But I'm just letting you guys understand that, no, EA is not robbing us with that. They are giving it back to you, but at a different time than they usually do later on with the physical chem, depending on how high of an overall your card actually is. All right? So with that being said, all of those pieces are now gone, so now you see everything that we have here. So we simply want to go ahead and get everything back from him because he was a waste of our coins. At 419, he was a little bit higher earlier. I don't really care about, like, you know, trying to get the best bang for the buck, like trying to be at like 410. Well, we could try it at like 410. What was that about? Because I don't really, like, he cost me, I think, like 450 or something. I don't remember what exactly it was. But this guy's up for 59 minutes. I don't think anybody's, I guess it's a bid price of 402. We could just go ahead and just bite the bullet and sell them for $3.99 and just not waste time. I think that's what I'm going to do right now. Or another option that you could do, which is all depending on how you want to work it, you can quick sell them for training and try to gamble and get another piece that goes into one of the other sets, and then complete TO set again, sell TO and use the other cards for more training. But I already have the other players that I want. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and sell them. I'm not even going to gamble with the actual playoff set right now, because it doesn't really matter at this point. So we'll just go ahead. We're going to go 398, and then I should go to 399, and then we'll get rid of them for that. And then this 92 should be going for 200 and change as well, 229. So we'll go ahead and sell that for 219 and just make out and get out of it right now. Because like I said, until EA fixes that situation with like the height differential, it doesn't really matter about anything else. Do I think that they can adjust it within the game of Madden 20? No, I do not. Simply because the way the game is designed right now, it'll be very, very difficult for them to remove the animations that are there. So in certain cases where you throw the ball and you're wondering, why isn't my Randy Moss jumping and the guy that's defending him is 3'2" and he's getting an animation to pick the ball? That's because it's already predetermined for you. That's one of the things that I really have a tremendous issue with this game overall. There's a lot of good things and a lot of good developments that have come to Madden, but that's probably one of the worst things that they've added. Not making height matter in the game has been a huge problem for a lot of years. So when I'm raid selling this guy, this is a guy that I would love to have had in like Madden 15. You know, he would have been a stud. Even Madden 18, when you had the high point situation with Harold Carmichael. But this game, height just absolutely does not make a difference. If you click on and just jump with anybody, it doesn't matter. If you have a newborn baby, even if you implement that person into the game, that person will then out jump Randy Moss, no matter what it is. Doesn't really matter at all. So I'm not losing anything, but rather gaining a lot from getting rid of Gronk right now, because his price is only going to continue to drop. He's a useless run blocker. Catching stats, all right, whatever. But like I said, Kittle is going to be the fastest and best player, and then by the time Kittle gets his next speed upgrade, he's going to be the most dominant tight end in the game anyway. So it'll work out pretty good for us. Gronk serves no purpose at all on your team, and that's just being brutally honest. Even if you are a Pat's theme team, he's useless. So whatever you're doing with him, hopefully you're having fun. Maybe you're throwing drag routes, you're throwing routes with him, and you think he's good. I'm just letting you guys know, based on everything that I tried to do with him, he's been a terrible, terrible card. All right, so now, moving on from that, as those cards should sell, with the rest of the way that the NFL playoffs promo is going currently, there isn't anyone else that I really want at this point. So is there a rush for us to add a tight end to the team? I just showed you that my chemistries are not affected by it, so there's really no rush to do anything. But if you guys wanted an idea of what's available there, you could simply go to tight end. You go to the highest overall right now, which is between 94 and 95. You'll be able to see what's available there. Dave Casper is trash. Tony Gonzalez, he's decent because he can run routes. And that's what makes him really, really good. He's sort of like Torrey Holt, but a tight end. So he can run routes at that position, and you could do a lot of cuts and do crazy things with him if that's something that you wanted to do. But you clearly see that his run block is 66. So Delaney Walker and Kittle are the best at that position for just straight run blocking with 80s and above. So I don't really have anything that's available at this point that I could just jump to and say, yeah, bro, let me jump. This guy is good. It's not like that. It's not a situation where it's ideal for me to deal with any of the higher rated tight ends that are currently available. You guys brought up Mercedes Lewis. We're going to take a look right now at the out of position players and go from there. But ideally, none of this really matters. Now, this card, if you guys have used this card, is a really, really good card. But obviously, he's not a run blocker, and he doesn't have the speed to really break off. Like 90 speed on our squad right now, he's out of position, so he has no physical chem. He's going to be a 91 speed, and that's it. Like, it's useless for us to actually get this card. For those of you guys that were inquiring about it, it absolutely makes no sense at all to do this. All right, so depending on what you're trying to do, could it be beneficial? I actually used him in one of the solos, and his spin move is so smooth. His juke move, like the guy, he moves crazy, but he's useless for what we would want him for. And that's what I really want to break down. It just doesn't make any sense to actually use him. And, for me, right now, ideally, it would probably, with the way that we run our offense, make more sense to actually start Lane Johnson at tight end and then utilize him in-game the way we want him. But another issue that may occur with that when we start moving him around as a wide receiver in certain packages is that when Kittle is released, Kittle will be a higher overall, and we would actually have to start, putting Kittle out there as well to like kind of boost the overall, even though I think that both the starter and the secondary player weighs heavily with the 99 overall team. It would probably make more sense to have Kittle be the starter outright anyway, because if people were to press you, he's probably going to end up with like a 94 speed at tight end. So he's going to already be an OP monster. This guy, like I said, no good, all right? No bueno, dude sucks. J.J. Watt is not a run blocker, okay? Primarily, he's going to go out there and he was at one point, as an out-of-position running back, he was pretty good because you were able to do a lot of different things in the previous Maddens. With this right here, some of you guys were asking, Gmias, what about his height, his weight, and him being a defensive player and having those good stats? Like, I think he has like decent impact block and he has other things that go to, like a 91 impact block, and that kind of stuff goes towards, a lot of the other features in the game. Like you can look at it and see that he's probably going to be able to hold certain blocks longer than other tight ends in the game. But at the same time, is he worth it? Is he a guy that you want to put out there and, put him at wide receiver? Because this is another opportunity where you could really be OP. Because impact block and lead block is pretty good as far as all the players that are there. But J.J. Watt, because he has a 94 strength, they make him so strong, he can probably do a lot of key things. So this is all about gimmicks, though, and making your run game just absolutely insane and just knowing that your players are going to hold blocks. Would he get shedded? It's a possibility. So I don't want to make it seem like this guy's going to change life for you. That's not what I'm saying. You can see his lead block is pretty low, but that impact block, when he sets the block, he's more than likely going to hold it a lot better than the other players. That's the method to my madness. That's why I run stretch and I'm usually able to get openings. When I don't get openings, it becomes an issue. Obviously, because I'm like, yo, what are these dudes doing? These dudes is garbage. But again, with the way that everything is set up, if I am going to put Lane Johnson as that player, which we have the opportunity to do, I can easily go and just find another right tackle and utilize another right tackle that has chems and make him be the starter so that he doesn't lose any, not be the starter, he'll be the backup to the right tackle that I actually start, all right? And then he'll be my starting tight end, and then we can just run the ball insanely and then use the different packages that are in game for tight ends in those spots and just have a lineman there. And that will completely just destroy what your opponent is doing. This guy, okay, you could use him again, like he's a D lineman, obviously out of position. We all know that, right? We could actually use him at wide receiver. So this is another thing that's very, very delicate, but it's all dependent upon what you're actually trying to do. Are you going to convert to a savage? Why did all these Taysom Hills just sell? Maybe for training, but are you going to convert and just be an absolute savage and just say, you know what? I'm running the ball every snap and I don't care. The issue that you're going to have though, is we're going to have to get rid of one of the other players because if we get, no, we won't. Because J.J. Watt we could put him as another, just like another position, like, you know, put him as like a specialist or whatever, and actually sub him in and see how he blocks and does things as a wide receiver. Obviously, with the other fullback, let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. With the fullback that you guys are recommending, the fullback can't go to wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think in the depth chart you could put him there. So this guy would have to be in the tight end position, and I don't need another tight end at that position because I run other linemen for my tight end. So Quentin Nelson, who some of you guys are recommending, what about this guy? What about this guy? Leaving him at fullback, for me, Kyle Juszczyk is a dog. Like, the dude, he does what he's supposed to do. Like, the dude's a true dog, like straight dog. His impact block is pretty low. Would I consider getting rid of Christian Okoye? I don't really use Okoye, so it doesn't matter. But the problem is, if I were to do that, I believe it would have a negative effect on the way that the squad works overall. Because although he has, you know, look at that run block, look at that impact block, I guess he would be like typically better at that position. Would it work overall for the scheme with the wing plays? Because Kyle Juszczyk has a lot of benefits. Remember, he's kept to a 99 lead block. So for those of us that know about 99 being kept to 99, in which I showed you with the finesse moves, we know that 99 means something this year. All right, so that would be very, very delicate for me, so I wouldn't be in a rush to do that. JJ Watt, I would, though, to kind of see what he would do as a wide receiver in the blocking scheme, and then obviously we would go to, you know, that's all depending on the scheme, that if it was necessary to run a different offense, usually we'll come out in strong wing, eye tight, stuff like that, see what the opponent's doing. But if we had to go to 2 wide receiver sets, I'm telling you right now, with the packages that you could run to put, you know, you could put Lane Johnson as a wide receiver and then have JJ Watt, another tight end who could play that position at wide receiver. We would have to compare it and see how it works. So let's go back over here to tight end and look at it again. I think Quentin Nelson's the only one. I'm not really concerned about that. And also, Vita Vea, which some of you guys were asking about. Vita Vea is a trash can as far as run blocking. So he's, even if you put him at wide receiver or whatever you wanted to do, he's not worth 300K. He's more of a player that you put him in the game to kind of laugh about the stuff that he does as a running back. He's a horrific run blocker, so he's not going out there to do anything like that. So putting him as a wide receiver wouldn't be ideal. Even though he's heavy and he has the weight, he still wouldn't be ideal. I think he also has good impact block, but the 52 run block is really, really bad, and it just wouldn't work out for us. Ideally, you know, putting him out there. I think JJ Watt would be the much better option, but that's just my opinion about it. But again, he wouldn't be able to work for us. We'd have to put him in as like a, you know, a specialist player to get him into the lineup and then sub him in. But this is all going based on the fact that we would want to get, you know, another right tackle and then bench our right tackle, who's going to be obviously Lane Johnson, and then just make a whole team of just craziness. You know what I'm saying? Just like insane craziness. That's the way that it would have to work in order for our offense to be even more OP with the run game. So I just wanted to break all that down for you to kind of understand there is no rush to actually, you know, create anything else that you don't want to at this time. I just want you guys to be well aware that a lot of the things that are going on, you know, within the game itself is going to be, you know, very, very prevalent. You're going to need a lot of these things to be successful, you know, in the run game, because as defenses get better, you're going to have to make your offensive line better. And if you want to do that and really frustrate your opponent, you got to put key players out there. So ideally for me, I'm going to start looking at a right tackle that can, you know, pretty much start for him. We're going to have to, we'll make Lane Johnson be a backup and then also a starter so that it'll work for our packages. We'll move George Kittle down. We'll move Delaney Walker down. Okay. And then we're going to have to figure out what we can do to add another 49er, because I don't think the 49ers have a decent right tackle. So we have to maneuver a little bit. And I think that and doing those things with those packages will make our offense even more dynamic. But I'm going to do more research into it first, and I'm going to get back to you guys as soon as possible to give you guys insight into it. Just again, I want you guys to understand, me having no slot here, it doesn't affect my chemistries at all, so I have time. I can just rage sell Gronk and run around in the air with my hair flowing around like I'm Palomalo. You know what I'm saying? Everything is good. For you, it may affect it. So if it does affect your chemistries, don't do it right now unless you have somebody else that can give you those, you know, chemistries. In my case, the go deep and the power run. I want to thank all you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped you to understand a little bit more about what it takes to have a dynamic running game in Madden 20. And I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. You have an unbelievable day. One love, y'all.